To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. You won't bring us down. Bring us. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, well, welcome back to the rebrand of Indie Wrestling Corner with the Queen of the Indies Corner. I'm your host, as always, the Queen of the Indies, Tiffany. And today I figure we have to go with a bang, pew pew, with the Shooter Boys.
Let's go, baby!
So we got Aaron Ortiz. How are you?
That's good.
We got Anthony Vecchio. How are you?
Yo, I'm good.
I'm so excited for this podcast because this is definitely one that I've been wanting to do for a little bit. So thank you guys for coming on here and being
for the rebrand.
Yeah, for the rebrand. I was like, we go with a bang, literally. Pew pew.
Let's go.
Guys, if you're new here to the Under the Rope series, here I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, promoters, referees, backstage. I got you covered. If you guys got questions for the Shooter Boys, please feel free, drop it into the chat. I'm sure they're here to answer all of your questions. So
Nothing's off limits.
Oh,
no questions.
No. I don't know what we're gonna get now.
I'll answer everything.
I might have a limit.
I have no limits.
He's like, I
actually encourage crazy questions.
Oh boy. We have a couple of fans that they might come in here with a couple of like some crazy questions. So we'll see how
Try to get me in trouble with your questions.
No, we're not getting anybody in trouble here, okay?
No, I'm just
that.
I'd like a challenge.
Hey, little mean Kathleen. She said she's the big hater here.
LMK, baby.
LMK.
Oh, really?
All day.
Big hater. Interesting. That's very interesting.
I'm excited. Make sure you guys share the stream so we get some people in here. So let's start because it's been like a very interesting like year for you guys, and someone like me who's been here from the absolute beginning with you guys. And I know I tweeted it out and I always say, man, I was at that Cap TV that Bryce Donovan put you guys on the spot to cut a promo. And like the fans didn't know who you guys were, but Bryce was so excited. And like I love seeing like that, and I love starting from the beginning with you guys. So let's talk about, this promo before, like we've entered like the Cap 10-year anniversary.
Yeah. You want to start, boss, or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
All right. So basically, we knew that our debut was coming. We knew it was going to be at the 10-year show, which we were like so pumped about. But we were kind of like, all right, like how are people going to like care? Like, what are we going to do? So like we talked about doing like a video package, hyping it up, and then Bryce mentioned how on Cap TV there was going to be something done, and like I was like nervous. I was like, I didn't know what we were doing, and he was like, yeah, don't worry about it, whatever. And he was like, we got there day of, and he's like, don't worry. Basically, what's going to happen is at the end of the night, I'll be in the ring. I'll just call you guys in there, say who you are, and that'll be it. And we're like, that's it? And he's like, yeah, that's it. So we didn't even know we were cutting a promo. So they right away throwing us into the deep water, see if we swim or sink. And no, it was definitely cool. And like being in front of a crowd for the first time, like and getting that feel, like it was pretty sick. And everyone at like Cap, our fans are like the coolest fans in the world, and like they immediately were showing us support and love before like we even had a match. So it was really cool.
Yeah, we have been training for like how long at that point? Maybe like 6 months, 7 months. So like they'd seen us at Cap TVs as like security, and like they really had no reason to care. So like it was like, oh, all right, I don't know, Bryce, you're gonna throw us in the ring and act like, whoa, who are these guys? I don't know, but they cared. It was kind of cool. We cut a promo, and then that led to our first match. That was pretty cool.
It was great, like promo. Like you guys, like real, like probably like you feel like a little nervous to like do it. Like this is the first time, and then you just get thrown on the spot.
Oh yeah.
But it was
Oh, yeah.
really good, like for like your first promo. Like it got us hyped.
Oh yeah, yeah. I spoiled the match. I wasn't even supposed to say it, but I spoiled the Even Stevens match. I felt it felt good. I don't know. You just kind of let it out.
Use it separate.
I love that. I love that. I love that. All right, so let's backtrack a little bit. Let's learn about like how you guys met before we talk about like your big debut match and everything like that, because you guys have that like high school background, you know, wrestling style and everything like that. So I don't know if like some people are as familiar with it, but give us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so me and Aaron, like even though we both did wrestling in high school, we actually never knew each other until training at Cap. So when I met Aaron, I was like a month into training, and like I was the youngest one there, and like I don't know, like I was getting along with people, but I was still the new guy, you know, so like still a little shy getting to know people. And then it was there was a practice the one night, and like we're waiting outside for someone to open it up, one of the trainers, and Aaron came. And I was like, okay, like this kid looks around my age, and I just had a gut feeling. I was like, I feel like he looks like an athlete. Maybe he wrestled. Maybe we'll have something to bond over. So I went over to him and I was like, hey, like what's your name? Introduce ourselves, whatever. And then I was like, did you do any sports? He's like, yeah, I wrestle. I was like, oh great, me too. I was like, how old are you? He's like 18. I'm like, sweet, me too. So then it was like right away, like I had a friend like at Cap, like my buddy, like that's who I was with all the time. And it was cool because like we kind of started around the same time.
Yeah, you know, we weren't friends at first. We were like friendly, but I'd say more. We were just like, it's just like it's competition, like
Sure.
silent competition. Like we were honestly for the first couple months, I don't really know if we ever really talked outside of just like training. Not even like that. Like we would just go and train, and we ended up just being the two guys that were always around the most. So then that's when like eventually we started talking a little bit more. I'm like, okay, we have a lot in common. Well, then, you know, we're both getting ready for our debut. And then I forget who's the first person. I really never know who the first person's idea to put us together was, but eventually it just got around, and then people started calling us the Shooter Boys, just for real, like behind the scenes. And then first match comes up, what's our name? Put that as our name. And yeah, it was really interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It was like first day. I remember my first day. He was a month in. He had a practice match with Max Caster, and I was like, damn, like I'm really behind. This kid is like way better than me. I thought he was like months in because he had his first ever match. He had a practice match with Caster, and it was my first day. I don't know anything. I'm like, I suck. And then like a month later, I had my first match, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. You know,
Still suck.
Still suck, yeah. But one day I'll get there. I don't know.
One day.
Yeah.
Terrible. And it's funny because like I remember when you guys like even like cut the promo at the Cap TV, and like I notice a lot, and I look for these things. This is just me, and like it was cool just to like turn my head around and kind of see what was going on in the back, and then you see like all the Cap people in the back, like outside, you know, like watching, like excited for this. It was pretty amazing to like see all that
Pretty
stuff.
funny.
So.
Pretty funny.
So let's talk a little bit about the debut match, which was really cool because Gabby Forza, like I remember being there for her debut match and, you know, watching that. And during the 10-year anniversary, here she is with the belt and everything. And I was in the back talking to her, and here you guys are having your debut match, and I forgot who it was. A fan came up and it was like, this was you last year, and now the Shooter Boys are here having their like debut match, and it's like crazy. So this was in Melville, which is huge, you know, place and everything like that. So what a way to make a
Huge
debut.
show. Definitely one of the biggest shows because 10 years of Cap, like you think about the people that have come through, like there was a lot of pressure because like some of the best wrestlers in the world today, like MJF, Statlander, Caster, Bronson, like just to name a few, Bryce, Ben, like all these different people, like so talented. So it was a lot of pressure, like 10-year show, like one of the biggest shows we've ever done. It was a big deal, and like we had to step up, and like there was pressure, and especially wrestling in front of that many people for our first ever match. It was like it was a little intimidating, but we were so ready, and like this is all we've ever wanted to do. And it's cool because like you said, like Gabby was in the back. She just won the championship, and I mean, she even said to us at the time, like people were over by her, and she's like, no, you pay attention to them, which is really cool. Showed the kind of person like she is or was, because recently I don't know if we've been too friendly with Gabby.
No, we don't mess with that gnome. Tell you what.
No,
We don't
not
mess
even.
with- She
But
was cool though.
she was cool.
She was cool.
Mm.
Nah, but that was like the coolest thing ever. That match was crazy. You got to think about it. Like 600 people, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people for our first match, and it was kind of like crazy because you see a lot of people's first matches kind of maybe just like a minute match, maybe not too much hype behind it, whatever. We had like our own match, longer match against established guys in the Steves, and we went out there and we won. We got a win in our first match. It was pretty crazy. But we knew, like, maybe all the nerves are there beforehand, but once we went through those curtains, it was just like, wow. It just felt like I watched that match back sometimes. I'm like, wow, it's like I don't know. I can't even critique that match because I critique like any other match I have. I'll critique it a million times. I'm not happy with any of them. But like that match, I don't even critique. I just like, wow, that's like easily probably got to be the favorite match and probably won't ever change.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest moments, if not the coolest moment of my life. It's really cool.
And you don't even know what's gonna happen like in the future, but like you had like such an amazing debut match, and you hear stuff, and I've been around enough wrestlers from all over the place and seeing the nervousness of even being backstage with some of them, like I'm nervous, I'm making my debut, like oh I screwed up, whatever, being like very critiquey on themselves and being very hard. And you guys are like the most hardest people on yourself with your matches and everything, but you guys did really well, and like with like you said, an established team that is well loved in Creative Pro.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Mike's in the chat. He says, "Shooter boys, Creative Pro rules."
Yes, it does.
Whoa. Cool. So, whoa, yeah, let's go. Get crazy.
Good cop, bad cops in the chat. He goes, "Hey Queen, hey boys, heading back to start to listen at 2x speed. Well, up to date in 10 minutes, but heard that all questions are welcoming. Perhaps my second question should have been my first. Oh boy, so maybe it will. So bring on the questions. They're they're here for it. So all right, so let's talk a little bit about chaotic wrestling. So I'm a big fan of chaotic wrestling. I've been supporting chaotic wrestling for years. I'm glad a couple of months ago that I finally got to go back up to chaotic wrestling because sometimes it's like so deep up there and everything like that. Me and Aaron were in the car actually. We were driving back and driving to chaotic in New Hampshire where they had a school show. So that was pretty cool. But I got to see you guys like wrestle there, and there's so much that you guys had. You guys had some singing going on. I kind of want to touch on that.
The singing?
Our pipes. We got. Listen, let me tell you something. Don't sleep on the pipes. Don't sleep on the pipes, man. We got woodwinds in our throats, man. We know how to talk. We know how to sing. We know how to talk. And little do you know, for a couple years in middle school, I played the trumpet. So I'm not saying it's gonna come out at some point, but I played a broken purple trumpet back in 6th grade, 7th grade, and I'm sure Anthony's got some other tricks up his sleeve, but I got a trumpet that's ready to get played.
He's got his trumpet, so you never know. But yeah, chaotic wrestling. So like, chaotic was our kind of like our first home away from home, because it was really early on where we went there, and that was kind of like the first place that kind of like took us in, and we started having more matches there. But yeah, no, everyone there, it's like the vibe is awesome. Like everyone is so talented, and it's definitely one of the best places to be. So we're very fortunate to have gotten there very early on. but we've been able to do a lot of cool things. Like we wrestled the Monarchy for the tag titles, even though we didn't win. Still was a lot of fun. And then, like you said, we had the opportunity to face Paris and Dante most recently. And Dante sang a song to Paris, and me and Aaron knew we wanted to try to recruit her to be the first ever Shooter Girl. So it seemed like the song worked out well for Dante. So I was talking to Aaron, and I was like, what if we had a song for Paris? And then just took it and ran with it. Showed the world my vocal skills, what I was capable of. Paris had no idea that was coming either, so it was pretty funny. And, it didn't work out, but it was a good attempt. It was a good attempt.
A great attempt. An excellent attempt. Yeah. Chaotic. I like calling it chaotic, honestly. Chaotic's definitely the second home we've had outside of Cap. We had a lot of great opportunities at Chaotic, and I don't know, the people there seem to like us, and I really enjoy wrestling there. It's definitely a second home. We wrestled so many great tag teams like Neighborhood, Brad Cashew and Ricky Smoke. So we wrestled a lot of cool people at Chaotic, so that's cool.
Definitely. I remember putting up the post of you guys doing the song, and I remember Liam Davis said you should hear Anthony rap, and I was like,
oh yeah, you never know. Cap Christmas Party. It's a good time. That's
you shouldn't hear him rap. He's he likes to parade around like he's a good rapper, and let's be real. I'm a better rapper, and they'll find out one day. You guys will all see one day. He likes to pretend he's a better rapper, but we'll figure it out. Now that we have a good buddy, a great friend, and a mentor in Becca, we will at some point. We'll go farther into this music venture. All right, I'm telling you. And I'm a better rapper than Anthony. I hope that's known. I just want everyone to know that.
Anybody that's ever listened will tell you that's not true.
And you're shaking your head. You don't even believe it.
I don't know. Will we get something on the podcast today? Maybe you break out and,
No.
Yeah. Why don't you freestyle, pal? Look at his palms are getting sweaty. He's itching his mouth.
I don't know about freestyle. I could do some Baby Got Back, but I don't know about freestyle.
Oh, okay.
But he's not built for the moment. I'll do whatever.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe we go through the podcast a little bit more. Maybe he'll get more comfortable. Maybe we'll get a rap.
A little loose there, Vecchio.
I love that. All right, but yeah, shout out to Chaotic Wrestling, Chase Del Monte doing great things. The fans are great. If you haven't got to a Chaotic show, definitely get to a Chaotic show. It is electrifying over there, pretty much. So, all right, let's talk New Year's Eve. You guys had a big opportunity, the Cape on the Rise, Gavi and Bronson had to pull off. So, this happens, cards subject to change, and they picked you to take the place pretty much. So, and you guys got to wrestle TJ Crawford and Love Dog, which I got to witness in person, which was pretty awesome because I love those guys as well. But what a great platform to kind of showcase yourself.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. You want to talk about it first? I feel bad. I feel like I haven't.
No, yeah, I will. You just overpower me. It's fine. It's okay, Vecchio. No, yeah, TJ and Doug are so good, man. It's crazy. It's so awesome to even get that opportunity. It was crazy how it came about. It was we were kind of bummed out because we weren't doing much at that end part of the year. A lot of shows sometimes. There's not too many, and if there are, they're bigger shows, and we are new, so it's tough for us to at that point get on those shows. So we were helping actually Aaron Rourke. We were just training with Aaron Rourke because he had the match against Timothy Thatcher at Heavy Lies the Crown. So we were just training with him, and we were telling him I wish we were on that card. And that day, crazy enough, randomly, unfortunately, we got the call from Gabby that Bear was injured. Bear couldn't he wouldn't be able to wrestle, and they were asking are you guys available? Would you guys be able to fill in? And we were like, yeah. I'm sorry. We were so bummed out for Bear. Honestly, way more than we were excited to wrestle because it's you never want to, even if that opportunity comes, you're not happy. You're never happy about that. But it was all right, we got to step up now because that card was full of a bunch of professionals, a bunch of guys and girls that have been there for years and years and years and know what they're doing. And we got the opportunity to be in there against TJ and Doug, two guys that we wrestled in our second ever match at Cap, actually. So we were happy we were getting that one back. And I don't know, it was just really, it was a great experience, and I would love to continue doing things like that. Like it was a big match.
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, like Aaron said, like it was definitely bittersweet because like I remember I was talking to Bear not long before that match. I was like, oh, yo, that show looks awesome. Like heavy elastic crown, like that would be so dope to get on. Like it's definitely a goal for next year. He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, just keep work. Like you'll be there, whatever. And then like Aaron said, we were training with Aaron Rourke, and then we got the call from Bear saying how he was hurt and they weren't able to be at the show, but they really would love it if we were able to be there in their spot. And like sometimes it's unfortunate and things happen for a reason, and it opened the door for us, and we were ready. We always stay ready for things like, like, and it was like Aaron said, it was time to step up. So wrestling TJ and Doug, it was like, okay, like let's show everyone that we belong and we could be here on this stage. Like even though it's our first year, like it doesn't matter. We believe it. Like we're confident in ourselves and our ability, and it was really cool. It was a really cool night.
Definitely. And like some of the people up in Massachusetts, like I've been traveling up to Massachusetts the last couple of years, and like, it is a hotbed. Like New England is such a hotbed for like independent wrestling up there. You guys even got to like work, Wrestling Open a couple of times. You worked my boys, Miracle Generation, so the fans up there, like you see your fans up there that like are unusual. I've seen a couple of them come down and come to like Cap shows also, which is pretty cool to see. But I think like some of them, maybe if they're not like as familiar with Cap, that maybe they'll notice you from Wrestle Open. So then they got to know you, at the Beyond show at Heavy Lies the Crown, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, you guys worked each other too, also at Open, which was pretty cool. So I think a lot of people got to know you a little bit more too. And there's nothing like the fans up there.
Yeah, no, the fan base over there is insane. It's awesome. And like every time we go there, like there's like you feel it, like you feel that energy, and it's like you get addicted to it. And same thing with Cat, like all these places, like the fan base is so awesome, and everyone has really taken to us really well. And it's just the beginning. I can't wait to see what it looks like the more we're out there and the more we're in front of those crowds.
Yeah, I love the New England fans. I'll say I love the Creative Pro fans. Obviously, that's like more family than fans because it's like they saw us from day one. They loved us from day one. We've loved them since day one. It's home. That's home. But like the New England fans are very interesting because it's like they will not give it to you unless you earn it, which I love that because it's like they're not gonna just cheer you because you come out. They're not gonna boo you just because you come out. They're gonna naturally how they feel, and that's always good because it's like we'll walk out, or the first times we'll walk out is like, oh, this is not like Cat, this is different. You need to earn these things, and that's what those experiences are for. And I really do appreciate the fan base in New England for that. Being different, helping us.
Definitely. Laura's in the chat. She goes, hey, have a great podcast. You all are amazing. I'm glad to be able to stop in before I got to go back to work. The Shooter Boys are awesome.
Let's go, baby.
It's pretty cool because I go to a lot of shows. I post a lot of clips. Usually a lot of people know, when I start putting people over, then they know that it's going to kind of like blow up. So I was talking to the guys like before we went live, and I was talking about Max. Shout out to Max. So she was like, oh, the Shooter Boys. She goes, I've heard Tiffany talk about the Shooter Boys, but Anthony unfortunately wasn't there. I think you were injured at Fight Life. Yeah, Aaron was there, so I had to introduce. So Aaron was there.
We can say it again. We can repeat it. Honestly, we can probably put that on a loop.
Damn.
Aaron was there. Sorry.
The salt. But I was stressing over the part of that. When like I start talking about people, and then people become interested. Like, who's that? So, which is pretty cool, like to watch and everything. Good Cop, Bad Cops in the chat. He goes, 20 minutes in and no food talk yet. Queen of the Indies corner sure is different from indie wrestling corner.
This first show, different.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, it always happens on this podcast. I had a clip on Twitter or whatever, X now or whatever like that when I did the 200 episode of the Under the Rope series, I had full Miracle Generation with the Haven. So the 4, because they were all considered Miracle Generation. And I got yelled at And it wasn't even my question. It was the question of cereal. So I know Good Cop, Bad Cop appreciates this because he's always constantly tweeting me things about cereal. So the question, so we'll bring it back up because this is an oldie but a goodie on this podcast. Do you put your cereal in first and then your milk, or do you put your milk in first and then your cereal?
There's a right answer to this, and I hope.
I mean, there's a right answer, but there's also like, it's like I don't even think it's really a question. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like people made it a question. It's not a question. And I think we say it on 3. I think we all answer on, or does that not work? I don't know how this audio.
I don't know if that'll work. It'll be a lot of time.
All right, well, I'll answer for both of us because I know it's the same answer, right?
Should be. If it's
All right,
not,
ready? I mean, if you don't put the cereal in first, then pour the milk, then you probably got something wrong with it. I don't know. You probably don't enjoy life. You probably haven't enjoyed most of the pleasures of life because you do things wrong. I'm not quite sure why you would ever do that to yourself.
I don't know. There's a couple of wrestlers that came on this podcast and they said that they put the milk in first and then the cereal.
Let's name drop them.
I don't even remember. Good Cop, Bad Cop. Do you remember who it was?
Yeah,
I don't even remember.
Let's make some guesses, Becky.
Was it Lucas Chase? I don't even remember.
Whoa, that guy's kind of big. I'm not gonna say anything about him.
I don't remember now. Who is it? It happened a couple of on this podcast. So,
that's honestly.
It's a bad take.
That actually upsets me to hear.
It's a bad take, It's an upsetting take.
Good Cop, Bad Cop says milk first is just for the heel heat. See? So
it's not even. It's just dumb.
I mean, it's just wrong, I don't even think it's like people would feel bad more than boo, It's like, why would you do that?
Mike in the chat says cereal first. Cereal first is the only correct. Mike goes, if it was Vargas.
If Vargas said he puts the milk in first.
Oh, hey, you know what? Milk ain't that bad first.
Here's the thing. I guarantee you Vargas is a cereal in first guy.
Yeah, because he's that type of guy, because he's a good guy. He knows what he's doing with it. Even though sometimes, I can't really understand him because he just yells a lot. Mm-hmm. I know those yells come from a good place. They come from the heart, and I'm telling you, he would do cereal.
Well, let's continue the food talk, and let's talk about the road trip snack. What is your favorite road trip snack?
Whoa. Road trip snack.
The go-to for me is I love the MedRx bars. You know what I'm talking about? Like the like Oreo flavor one. Or I also really like getting Rice Krispie treats. I'll have like one before a match or whatever, and then a lot of energy drinks.
Ooh, that's an understatement, pal. You'll do 4 before the match.
I'll get myself amped up.
Yeah, you run off of those things. You run off C4. You gotta get sponsored.
Do you steal the C4 bin that's at the Creative Pro shows when they show up?
So, like, I don't...
Off the record.
I don't know what we're... Like, if we're allowed to or not. But...
Off the record. It's off the record, Becky. You can be honest.
You know what? We're on this podcast. Let's just leave it all out there. I do.
Oh!
I do. Woo! That's the news story. What?
That's what? The rebrand. For the rebrand.
The Shooter Boys are being sponsored by C4. You got to start putting it on your gear now.
If anyone should sponsor us,
it's true.
Yo.
Now we're gonna get some sponsorships live on this podcast for the Shooter Boys.
My go-to road trip snack. I'm actually not a big snack guy personally. I don't know. I'm real weird around there. I'll get like almonds. I'm an almond guy. I'll eat some almonds before the match. Either almonds or if I'm feeling frisky, I'll get a Chipotle bowl and I'll eat until like I feel content. So I'm not too full, not too whatever, not too much. And then I'll keep the rest like, in the car and then, go wrestle my match. I don't know. I don't like eating too much. I feel heavy. I don't like it.
Yeah, I would think that like you guys couldn't really like eat so much. Like I feel like it's just like a general thing that I've learned through this podcast that you can't eat before the match because you might throw up.
After the match is what you're looking for here. All right, so after the match, it's a little late, right? So not too many things are open. Mr. McDonald Ronald tends to get a lot of use there. when we go to McDonald's, I have a go-to. I'm a big McChicken guy, big on a McChicken. I don't know the beef from McDonald's. I'm not a big fan anymore. I used to be. I'm not anymore. I don't like any of the burgers right now. Chicken nuggets, I'm not even a big fan of. They kind of just taste like, throwing a piece of eraser in your mouth. I don't like it. So I'm a big McChicken guy. I don't even want anything else. I'll take 3 McChickens and I'm done for the night.
It's
Okay.
essential to stop at McDonald's after the match.
It's the staple. Even all the times that I've even done like the drives with the wrestlers in general, and I've driven a bunch of wrestlers in the car. So if it's not Super Sandwich, it's McDonald's. So
I mean, I'd prefer anything but McDonald's though at that time. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not a big McDonald's guy anymore.
most of the time that's the only thing that's open, because as you're driving back on the highway, that's all that's open.
That's it.
Exactly.
Coach C's in the chat. He goes, Aaron Ortiz out here fact checking.
That's right. That's right. Coach C. My guy.
Coach, he's got a little interview coming up with us pretty soon.
He's the coach.
Awesome.
Shout
Good Cop Bad Cop says, is Sheets or Wawa an appropriate question for the range shooter boys wrestle in?
What was the question?
So, Sheets or Wawa?
I don't know. What
Wawa. See, me and her, we're on the same level. We know what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Wawa. This guy doesn't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I don't know what's going on. But
Wawa.
I heard of Wawa, so I'm gonna say I'm a Wawa guy.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
think
I'm real with you, I've
Sheets.
never had Sheets.
I think Sheets is more upstate New York. I think, like very far upstate New York, and then I know like Pennsylvania and stuff. But that is the typical argument with wrestlers.
Let me tell you this. I'll tell you, I don't have an argument, unfortunately, because I've never had Sheets. But I'll tell you who's a big Wawa guy, because I've only had Wawa a few times. There's a group that are big Wawa guys. Before I had my first match, this is the only time I've had Wawa is when I used to go up with Los Toxicos. When I used to drive up with those doppelgangers, those scoundrels, those guys love Wawa. Those guys will go to Wawa twice in a road trip, and not in a bad way. They love their Wawa. I might be honest, their argument's pretty good. Like, you can get everything there. You can get a sandwich, a salad, a burrito. Like, you can get everything.
Breakfast. You get. I'm here about the coffee. I'm all about the coffee from Wawa.
I'll just Sebi Moore, big coffee guy.
I guess Sebi's gonna have to join me and Phil Cardigan one of these days for our little drinking escapades on that coffee podcast, pretty much. So.
I mean, Vecchio's a caffeine guy too. He's just not into coffee yet. He's an energy drink guy. You got to give him some recommendations.
There's plenty of coffee that me and Phil can definitely tell you not to drink. Just watch the last episode that we did.
If I ever switch to coffee, I'll make sure I check that out.
Mike in the chat says, would you guys consider a manager? Bacabella is available.
I don't know if Bacabella's available.
I'm not gonna say no. Bacabella, I don't know about that guy.
Wait, how do we know that Bacabella's available? Did he say he's available? Because I mean, that guy is a former Hall of Famer. I'm not sure I would say no to that guy. He's a former Hall of Famer.
Really. You know, he's with the artist right now at Creative Pro. He's with Channing Thomas everywhere else. He looks like he's got his hands full. I mean, if he came to us, maybe we would hear him out. I'll
definitely hear him out. Yeah.
Of course. Anyone, really. Anyone, Right now, I think we're doing pretty well. I don't know. We got a thing going, but if it was the right person, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I'm not opposed. Yeah, I'm not. I don't think we're opposed to anything. We're open to whatever makes the most sense, whatever gets us to where we need to get. I think that's where we go. And if anybody can add to the Shooter Boys any ideas, I mean, we're open to everything.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Shoot the DMs, the tweets, all that fun stuff, You can contact them, bring them some C4. Pretty much.
Yeah. Tell you what, Bacabella, he has his hands full, but that guy knows when he sees talent. He manages two of the best on the indies, Jake Lang and Channing. So I wouldn't be surprised if he sees us, comes across Cap a little bit more often. If he sees us, he wants to have a conversation. I wouldn't be surprised, but
Okay, there you have
Well,
it. All right, so let's talk a little bit more Limitless Wrestling. Shout out to Randy doing amazing things up there. I always like much love to Randy up there. So lately, like you guys have been, with Becca, they're coming out doing your little dance
Oh,
thing.
Becca!
On God.
On God. So like you said, Gabby wasn't really nice. You said before, so I don't know if you want to like elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh, I would love to.
Pick it up, Vecchio.
I would love to. You know, I thought I knew Gabby. I met Gabby like super early on, first day of my training. You know, like one of the first people I met in wrestling. I thought she was super cool. Like I even said with the debut, like she was super supportive of us and like telling people to check us out. But then like I don't know like what happened with Gabby somewhere along the lines where like she was talking like she's always said how like Becca is one of her dream matches and like how she would love to wrestle Becca and whatever. So Becca gets hurt. Gabby becomes a big star at Limitless, and the fans like they really take to Gabby, but it was almost like they forgot about Becca. Like they loved Becca before that, and then Gabby is trying to like take this away from Becca, and to me it's just this is someone who she claimed to have looked up to, and she had the opportunity to have a match with Becca. Then she makes it a triple threat with Paris. She's lucky I was hurt because I was pissed. I was screaming at my TV. Aaron was there.
You should have seen me backstage. Everything was all over. I was throwing things
down, and Becca and the Shooter Boys. People don't know this, but we became pretty close. She trained at Creative Pro for a little bit. And that's where we met her and immediately bonded. It was when she was coming back from her injury, and we've been there for her, and especially when these people weren't. They kind of turned their back on Becca and they sided with Gabby because they're fake. They're fake. And we like the fans over in Mass and like at Creative Pro, but the fans in Maine,
ridiculous.
And so Gabby kind of showed her true colors. So,
Tell you what. Those fans in Maine, they'll love you one day, and then they'll boo you the next day. They have no loyalty, And Gabby, let me just be honest. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say she's a gaslighting garden gnome. That's what she is. Gabby is a gaslighter because she says all these things before she's a big star. I love Becca. She's the best. I would love to have a match against Becca, and she smiles, and everybody believes her, and everybody likes her. And then guess what? Becca goes down with an injury. Gabby becomes the big star. And now she's too good. Now she's too good for Becca. Now she's too good for us. All right? Now she's the big star that everybody loves in Maine. But guess what? Becca's always been the best wrestler. Becca's always been the biggest star. And we knew that. And you know what? I don't think we're doing anything wrong. I think we're just giving Gabby a taste of her own medicine because she stomped on Becca while Becca was injured. Becca couldn't do anything. And Gabby was just – did she call Becca once?
No.
No. Did she ever mention that she was thinking of Becca? No. She was wrestling. She was doing all these great things. She's a great athlete. We'll never say she isn't. But guess what? She's getting a little bit of her own medicine. We're not going to be second place anymore. Becca's a pop star, number one for a reason. And she deserves that spot.
So are you guys like ready to like wrestle Gabby 2-on-1?
Oh, of course.
Dude, I don't know if Becca needs our help. I think she could handedly take, they wrestled last weekend, and I just, I couldn't control my own anger. That's on me. Becca was going to kick out of that spear anyways. I just had to, I couldn't let my anger, I saw Gabby hit my best friend, my brother, Anthony.
Suit for like 3 days.
Oh, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, Queen of the Indies. Let me tell you this. My neck was assaulted with that pile driver. I gave no consent to have a pile driver to my neck. Did you see the way I was in the air?
I saw. I was watching.
It's ridiculous.
Somebody from the same wrestling school as you?
Supposed to be a friend. Are you kidding me? Not a friend. Not a friend. Would a friend do that? I couldn't move the rest of the day. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. I was drooling from the mouth because I couldn't control my neck. I don't know, man. It's just, you think you know people, like Anthony says, and then they just absolutely assault you, and it's really disgusting, to be honest.
Wow. So I guess stay tuned. Make sure you're following Limitless Wrestling and don't know what's going to happen going further. So definitely tune into that.
Gaslighting Garden Gnome.
Oof. Mike in the chat says, "Can you guys shut Los Toxicos up?"
I would love to.
You know, I would love to as well. It's a great request.
I would really love to. I feel like that's bound to happen at some point. Like it's almost inevitable, right? Like they are very annoying over at Cap. They one most hated for a reason, and they, we haven't really crossed paths in the ring yet, but I'm sure it will happen one day, and I am very excited for the day where I get to punch Utek Susio in the face.
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what, I'm ready for the day that I get to hit that man Sebia Moore in the face. So I think we're kind of on the same wavelength there. I'll tell you what, they won most hated for a reason, but they didn't win best tag team for a reason. That's because we're there. They might be the second best, but second best isn't better than us. And the fact is, once they come in the ring with us, once we get to get our hands on them, we will fulfill that comments request to shut them up. They won't be able to speak. Even though Sevi, that guy will talk if you put a muzzle on him. I don't know how he gets his words out.
Mouth, man.
Guy's always talking.
All right, let's do some of these fan tweets. So we have one that Good Cop Bad Cop put in the other day. He said, "The Shooter Boys being an anagram of best theory O's. Give us your best theory about wrestling that will make those wrestling go, oh, what a surprise."
Okay, so the question is, we're gonna go over this question like I'm in kindergarten. All right, here we go. So the question is, what is our best theory that will make wrestling fans go, oh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Like, oh, in a good way? Like, oh, or like...
I think more of like a shock factor.
Best wrestling theory. Oh, that's a good question. You're gonna have to go first here. I'm really digging deep here.
Best wrestling theory that makes...
While you think, Lisa's in the chat. She goes, "You guys are the best tag team ever." Thank you, Lisa.
Appreciate the love.
I really agree. Thank you. Best wrestling theory. Well, I mean, Austin theory. I don't know how many other theories.
You know what I'm going to say? I don't know how many people watch Cap Celtic Pride, the last show that we had, where I was attacked by Adrenaline Express, and I promise you they'll get theirs eventually. But the main event, it was Hornswoggle, it was Gabby Forza, who sucks, and it was Bobby Orlando versus Los Toxicos, the group that we were just talking about. And as much as I don't love Toxicos, I respect Utek Susio, and I'll tell you why. There was a point in the match where he went to crush Bobby Orlando under a trash can. He goes up to the top, doesn't usually go up there, and he missed his senton onto Bobby. But here's where wrestling fans might go, oh. I think that point in the match turned that into a potential match of the year. And because Utek, I'll give it to him, don't like the guy. He got right back up. He sprinted, and he crushed Bobby under that garbage can. He did not let anything stop him. He was relentless. He did not give up in that moment. And I think that was one of my favorite moments possibly ever at Cap. I don't know if that made you go, oh, or not.
What was the theory there, pal? Do you know what theory means?
I don't know. I don't have a theory. I'm just saying things, bro.
I thought the theory was going to be that you thought he did it on purpose.
I really just wanted to shout out that moment.
I thought the theory was that, Utek did it on purpose because he knows, my fingers on the pulse.
The thing that here's what I think people will go, oh, about. Like, the fact that I thought that moment in particular made the match from, like, a good match into, like, yeah, this could be match of the year.
You want to know my theory? I got a theory. And I'm sorry if you're looking for a WWE theory or an AEW theory. I don't have any that are coming off the bat, but I do have one that's personal to us. I have a theory. In our second match with the Even Stevens, things got a little hasty here, right? So I gave Steve Somerset a nice little German suplex. First ever German suplex I've ever done, right? And I just gave it to him. Perfect. Landed him right on that neck. Boom. Bridged on it, just like Queen of the Indies would like. I bridged on it right on my toes. Had it. And referee Emmy goes down. 1, 2, and then stops at the 3. She stops her hand. But why? Why? Why did she stop? It wasn't because Steven Azure got in the ring. Buddy was late. Buddy wasn't even close to me. I had that thing hooked. Somerset didn't kick out, and Emmy stopped the count. Now, if that doesn't tell you one of two things. One, Emmy is in cahoots with the Even Stevens and has been since day one. Or two, Emmy is against the Shooter Boys and has been since day one. It's one of the two, all right? And you know, I've had a few matches with referee Emmy, and she hasn't done me wrong since then. But that day, I don't know whether they paid her off. I don't know if she's had a vendetta against us since day one. But referee Emmy, my theory is that she's got a problem with the Shooter Boys, or she's in the pockets of the Even Stevens.
Ooh. See? Ooh.
I was gonna say you did it.
You feel that? Those are goosebumps you got there, pal. Those are goosebumps that you people feel. Goosebumps. You understand?
Brittany's in the chat. Hi, Britt. She goes, I'm late. Hi. We're getting...
I'm bangers for free here. This is goosebump material.
We're getting good here. We're really getting into it. The ins and outs, the things that you don't know.
Dark Side of the Ring. You want to go in Dark Side of the Ring? That's the next episode. Is Emmy, referee Emmy.
Oh God! Only live on the Queen of the Indies corner. We get the real deal on this channel.
It's the truth.
I'm dead. See, this is why, like, I love them. And then it's like, you know, Aaron's gotta, you know, he breaks out the bridge, you know. So Anthony, what's up? Like, where's my bridge?
Okay, let me tell you this. My bridge is pretty good. I'll give it to my boy, though. He's got probably the best bridge in the game, in my opinion.
Best bridge in the game.
Now, every time he does that bridge, when you think about it, whether it's a Northern Lights or a German suplex, there's only one way to land, and that's right here on your neck. So, if Boss Man wants to do that, by all means, he can do it, and he's really good at it. But I'll let him stick to that, and I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? All him.
You know, that might be the smartest thing you've said, Becky. It's a good assessment that you don't need to do it. You know, because it takes a toll on you. I'll be honest. I mean, Gabby spiked me on my head, on my neck, and I realized, I was like, wow, that hurts almost as much as when I give moves. Because when I'm giving these moves bridging, I mean, I am just, like, my neck is just taking all that grunt impact. And pretty soon, I'm pretty sure I won't be able to turn left or right. As long
and I will. So that's why I know you love your bridges. Maybe one day, but probably not.
It's not worth the Tiff cheap pop.
I don't know if it is. I don't know. If it
Listen,
is either, but I'll keep doing it.
I'm corrupting one indie wrestler at a time, from the matter of, like, me being so thrown into the independent scene where I only knew Anthony Gangone to be doing the perfect bridge, and then I've got yelled at wrestlers, but, like, this is your fault that I feel I have to give you a bridge now.
Hey, you ain't corrupting me. I'm not.
Kylon King yelled at me, told me that I'm making all the wrestlers that's his thing, that he does it, that's his thing.
Kylon's got a great bridge. You know, I'll give it to him. I think me and Kylon, we're up there for the best. I'll be early on in my bridging career, I wasn't getting on the toes. I wasn't really but I was bridging crazy. You got to see my bridge. It was crazy. Now I know better, doing it a few times. I'm on the toes. I'm bridged like crazy. Me and Kylon are top two. And you can switch them.
There's a lot. Nick Wayne, perfect bridge, you know.
Really,
Dante started doing bridges for me. McCray Martin. Who else? Desmond Cole. Like, there's a lot. Dustin Waller's done a beautiful bridge.
Got all these people doing it.
People do it. I'm not doing it.
He's like, you got enough, Tiff. Enough.
A million people bridging is my thing.
Good Cop, Bad Cop says, so I haven't found out who puts milk in first, but Miracle Generation were yelling at you as they thought you did. You tagged them on the post and clip back. Yeah, 2022. Man, we're in 2025. It's also pinned on my Facebook. I updated the Twitter pin on my personal Twitter. Had to like change it up a little bit. So anyway, all right, let's go on to another fan tweet. So this one's from Dave. He goes, "Is there a move you want to learn with your partner but haven't been able to put it into a match yet?"
It's a good question.
I mean, so it's gonna be tough for me to give you like a specific example, but like I think that's a part of like evolving, right, and getting better. So like there's gonna constantly be things like this is our first year still, like in actually debuting and wrestling and being out there. So there's constantly gonna be new moves and new things added and evolving, and that's just a part of getting better and growth. And you can't just do the same thing all the time. You have to grow. You got to get better, and I'm sure there'll be new moves in our repertoire pretty soon. I don't know off the top of the head. I can't really. I don't know.
Specifically, if there's like a move that we tried and like we couldn't perform it, I don't know. I know that I've had crazy ideas, and we just said maybe we don't do that because it could get a little dicey. I remember I suggested once. I was like, you do that angle slam. What if you can somehow keep them up on your shoulders, and I can jump off the top rope and double stomp into the angle slam? And I was like, I've never even done a double stomp. I don't know how that would even be possible. Where am I going to go after I stomp on the guy? It's just like you have ideas you want to try, but it's like you got to make sure you can pull them off. And if the moves were working, then why would we switch it up? But we are constantly evolving, improving, constantly getting new tricks. And you guys will see a bunch of new stuff every match. We're still getting better every match. You guys probably see a different move from us every match.
Yeah.
We're constantly adding stuff.
See, I appreciate that. This is something that like Gangone and me have talked about. That was one of the things that I loved about Gangone. Gangone was first interview that I've had on this podcast, the 20th and my 100, and probably due for another one. But the nice thing, what I liked about Gangone was that I always felt that every time I went to go see Gangone, I never got the same type of match. That he would just change it up all the time, so that the people that do like support him and like come to like all his shows, that you're not gonna get bored and like know the match like before the fact of like what's gonna happen before the fact. And I think that's the nice thing about wrestling, and people probably don't know, like these are all the things in training and stuff that they do, that they're constantly going to training, constantly trying to do new stuff, trying to like you said, like evolve. So I just want to make sure that like I appreciate that, and I'm sure a bunch of people appreciate that with you guys. Like you guys are talented as hell, and I can't even imagine where you guys are gonna go from there. So
yeah.
So I have two final questions for you. If anybody else has any questions, please feel free, drop it into the chat. So we're already a couple months into 2025. What are some goals that you would guys like to accomplish this year?
Goal-wise, I mean, I'd say this year, I don't know. I think a lot of it's crazy. Something I feel like I've realized is a lot of improvement in professional wrestling is experience-based. Like, the best thing for us to continue doing is just keep wrestling constantly, keep getting out there, keep practicing literally nonstop, thinking only about wrestling. And as crazy as that sounds, that's literally the only way to get to where we want to get, right? We want to get to points where we're signed or on TV. We want to get to these great places that we could talk about all day. But like the best thing we could do is just continue going to training every day, continue wrestling hopefully every day on the weekends. Like, yeah, I guess if there's a goal, it's like, I don't know, you can set goals and they don't work out. And then you shouldn't get bummed out about it if it's like, oh, like I want to wrestle every weekend. And then, oh, what if a weekend it's real dry or you don't get booked? Oh, am I going to stop? No. So I guess like a goal probably is just like, I want to just continue going new places and getting better and constantly improving, I guess. It's a vague one, but it's like, you can't get too specific with wrestling because wrestling's so crazy. You just can't really predict it.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, it's two things. It's like a little bit what Aaron was saying, like just improve and keep getting better and keep working harder and get on more shows and do bigger things on these shows. Like we want to be on the top of the industry, like not just as a tag team, like just in general, So that's really important to me. Just keep getting better and keep becoming the best versions of ourselves. And I think the second thing for me is to finally win a championship this year. I think it'd be really cool to finally win a belt. You know, I think we've busted our ass, and I mean, obviously that only happens if you earn it. And I feel like we keep getting better and better. And I think that next time or that we challenge for a title, I would say that we're ready. I think
I
that
do have another goal, actually. Now that you made me think about it, this is how I want to get. So championships are cool and all, but one thing I really want to get this year, and I'm gonna be distraught if I don't get it this year, both of us, is to graduate Creative Pro. I want to become a Creative Pro graduate this year. I don't know. That's like, I remember like when I first stepped into Creative Pro, that was like the number one thing. It's like you're chasing that. You see all the graduates, MJF, Caster, you know, Aaron Rourke, Bryce Donovan, all these, Chris Statlander, Sterling, everyone, Bear Bronson. It's such an illustrious class of graduates, and it's just like a big goal for us, definitely, is to become a graduate at Creative Pro.
Definitely. I see that coming. Definitely. Hopefully sooner.
This year.
Fingers crossed. We're putting it out there. Let's see. Good Cop said, not all listening to all the clips on the serial the same, but you said in your interview with Above the Rest from June of 23 that Andy Brown puts milk in first. Oh, see?
I haven't met Andy Brown, but I don't know, man. That's a crazy thing to
never
do.
met him. We're off to a bad start.
Oh,
Bad
damn.
start.
We
Bad
love Andy
start.
Brown here. Good Got Back Up says, here's my fantasy booking. With Happy Gilmore 2 coming out this season, I want to see Shooter McGavin coming out as the Shooter Boys manager in a cross promotion.
Wow.
Would it be opposed? I would hear him out.
I would 100% hear him out. Happy Gilmore 2 coming out soon.
Oh, man,
Great.
this summer. So stay
Keep it
tuned.
real, I've never even seen the first one, so I'm going to watch the second one before I watch the first one.
They're young.
Yeah.
All right, so my final question on this podcast is very special to me. Wrestling with positivity, because as we always see, we see the negativity in the world of wrestling. So I'd like to focus on the positive here. So is there anything that you guys can share with us that maybe something that a fan's done for you, maybe a wrestler's done for you, or maybe something that you've done for a fan or that you've done for a wrestler? Anything that comes to mind that we wouldn't know unless you shared with us?
I think we can give one for honestly each. I think I'd say something a fan did for us. I mean, the fans do such cool stuff. Like without the fans, and that sounds so cliche, but it's literally the truth. Without the fans, what are we doing? We're really not doing much. Like, even if there's one fan, there's people there. Without them, it's like we're wrestling for each other, but it's like we have to wrestle for these people that care. And I'd say for our first match, what really surprised me that fans did is we came out. And when we were at our merch tables, we just saw these guys that we see at a lot of cap shows. They had this flag that said Shooters, and it was like a Hooters thing, but it was like Shooters, and I was just like, wow, they had like shirts that said Shooters. They had and they weren't family members. They weren't people we necessarily knew. It was our first match, and like it was just so cool to see. Like, wow, that was awesome. These fans didn't have to do that. They went out of their way to do that, and that was really cool for sure. I mean, and we see them to this day. They still show up and support. They're our guys for sure.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
I think no, definitely that. I think as far as the wrestlers, like when we go back to the debut match, like you were saying, like you were looking, you saw a lot of them for our promo before the 10-year show, like they were there. There was a lot of support and a lot of love for us from not just the fans, but also the wrestlers. And that was really special to me. And because, like, you train and you work hard, and, like, these people, like, they recognize it, and they're there for you. And it really is like a family over at Creative Pro. And so that meant a lot to me. And from both the wrestlers and the fans, it was special.
On the wrestler thing, I want to just elaborate, just because we are on the positivity point, right? We're trying to be positive.
Yes.
Positive.
Let's go.
I don't know. I think maybe there's a bad rap when it comes to like politics and wrestling or whatever, and you hear all these things before you get out there on the road, and you're like, oh, whoa, maybe that's a little bad, considering we're so new and we're young, and so we're like, I don't know, maybe people will look at us different or not really want to give us respect or anything. But from our experience, honestly, like, I can't thank literally everyone that's helped us along this way, like, more. It's crazy. Like, not just Creative Pro people, which are all of our trainers, all of the people that we train with. Like, those people are great, but I'm talking about other people as well, like Wrestling Open people, all the New England people, Chaotic, like, my dog's barking.
You're fine.
What do I do? Does that? Should you finish this thing off real quick? I'll be back. Do you mind if I just?
You're fine.
This is your thing.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Fine.
Go take care of the dog then. You're good. You can stay there.
I'll be back. It's gonna give me a 1 minute.
We're like at the tail end here. Where are you going? We've gotten this far.
Damn, he left. Now you can talk shit about him for real.
No, I mean we're in the positive section. There's a lot to say. I'll leave it out. I mean, okay, but how am I supposed to finish what he's saying?
Oh no, you're fine. So, but just elaborate a little bit on that too, because like I remember being there and the wrestlers like being like all the people at Cap like being in the background like at their merch tables watching you guys and everything, and just the support even at like the Cap TVs. And like I love like looking again behind me and like seeing everybody like outside of the garage just like supporting and taking photos and like cheering you guys and everything like that. So the amount of support that goes on in the background, and this is someone who's not even part of wrestling, I just I'm a fan and everything like that, but I notice all these things even at like the 10-year anniversary, just seeing even in the back, like even when Bronson was watching Gabby like the first time that she was wrestling, that he was in the background, like I saw like just being there, being supportive and everything like that. Like I can't push this any more than like with everything with Cap, which is so amazing over there. Everything Pro Wrestling's in the chat. Go give him some love. He's got you covered. So he comes, he supports me with all the indie wrestlers, and then they go onto TV, onto like AEW, WWE, and Conrad's going to be talking all about all that stuff. So make sure you give him some love on his channel as well. So mark my word. Mark it down now, Conrad. You're going to see these boys. They're going to blow up in years. You're going to see them. They're going to be on TV.
True.
Good Cup Bad Cup says, what's his most annoying habit? Too late, he's back. Terrible.
Wow.
Terrible. We were
Bad Cup. Interesting, pal.
Lisa said, you good, Aaron? I also have a dog. Yeah, they bark and everything. So all that fun stuff. So so what do you guys got coming up so that they can come support you guys?
Well, coming up immediately, I'd say I'm wrestling at Fight Life. Anthony will also be there. I don't know, hopefully there to support me. I'm hoping. I hope you're there to support me. But Fight Life, I'm wrestling in a Fatal 4-Way against Milo Mira, Seabass Finn, and who's the other? There's one more person. I don't know. But it's
the end result's gonna be the same. I'll hype up right now. Aaron is walking out. This Fatal 4-Way, the winner. It doesn't matter who's in it, who he's against. He's going to win this whole thing. I have full confidence in him.
So we got that coming up. I'm sure there's going to be some Cat TVs coming up soon before the May 31st Melville show. We want it to be the biggest Creative Pro show of all time. Show up, buy your tickets, pull up. Melville is going to be the greatest of all time. It's Melville. You don't miss Melville shows because we put on the best show, not only on Long Island, but on the East Coast. So show up. Show up.
The 1 year of the Shooter Boys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and it's Rip Bison. I looked it up.
Rip Bison. I'm gonna put him on the mat. I'm gonna pin the guy. But let me just continue with May 31st. May 31st, we really are trying to make it the biggest Creative Pro show we can do. We're promoting like crazy. We really want to see everyone. The Shooter Boys will be wrestling there. We will be there. You will, and a million more people. Who is it announced? We got Maven, Doc Gallows. Who else? Rich Swan was announced. All these great names will be there. Like, come on, you can't beat that.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat that.
Exciting. And I know the premiere of the last Creative Pro show is this Sunday at 5:00. So make sure you're following that if you didn't watch that. So that will be live. So tell everybody where they can follow you. If they're not following, they should be following you, but tell them where they should be following you.
They should _Anthony Vecchio _ on Instagram. Stay tuned. Everything that we're doing, I post on there. I'm trying to get better at X, Anthony Vecchio on X, but I try and stay consistent on there. I'm working on it, but Instagram, very active. Find me there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not active on any social medias, but I try my best. You can follow me, though. That'd be pretty dope if you did. I appreciate it. I like seeing the number go up. I don't really know what it means. I don't really know. I'm a really in-person guy, so you can actually come to my house if you want to see me.
No.
No.
So
Take that back. Retract
DM
that.
me. If you want my address, DM me.
No.
So that's for one. But yeah, it's on Instagram. It's Aaron2Ortiz. Aaron2Ortiz. If you want to throw me a follow. On Twitter, it's ITZ Aaron58. Real crazy X username there. I'm not really active on X. I don't really do anything on X, so you don't have to follow me if you don't want to. Whatever. What else? What's the other social media? Instagram, X, and what else? Facebook. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
He's somewhere out there, over there.
Meet me in person. I'll give you my address.
No. Anyway.
Pastor's address in person.
Oh my God. I have to play mom right now. No.
We will.
They say they're like, everybody's like,
we won't give you the address.
Everybody's wrestling Bob. Is there anything else you want to share before we get out of here?
I feel bad because I left for my dog in the middle of my
don't feel bad. You're fine.
middle of my rant. I wanted to just thank everyone. Thank everyone. And that was what I was trying to do.
Yeah, thank everyone who came to the live, everyone that's been supporting us, and that will continue to support us. We love you all and appreciate you all. And that is a shoot, baby.
Ooh, there you go. So thank you guys for all your questions, all your support. If you're watching this later, make sure you leave a like, make sure you're subscribed, leave me some comments, would appreciate it. I hope you guys like the rebrand. Queen in the corner.
Let's go!
I love these two. So definitely future stars. They're already stars. So again, make sure you give them a follow. You're going to see them down the line, bigger places. I know it already. So you guys know the drill. Stay safe, support independent wrestling, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.